Hi guys, welcome to my channel where we talk books, writing, and making money from the arts. I also share snippets of life as a published author based in Kenya. Today, I actually want to talk about the arts and specifically making money from theatre. I have with me Mary G, who is my sister, and I think I'll let her introduce herself because she'll do a much better job of it than I can.
Hi guys, my name is Mary G. Waithaka. I am a business strategist. My specialty is helping highly skilled professionals to leverage their skills to become highly paid experts. Pretty much that's it, I think.
Wow, it makes me sound as just a published author.
You need to blow your own trumpet.
Published author is not enough.
That's huge. How many people have written a book? Some people can barely write a blog post.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so this conversation is the first one in what I'm calling the Artpreneur series. And the reason I'm very passionate about arts and business is because, speaking as a creative and a novelist, we tend to focus so much on the creative side. I enjoy writing, that's the best part of everything. The whole publishing and the editing and the marketing, honestly, it can be a little exhausting sometimes, but I just have to remind myself it's a necessary evil.
Yes.
Of what it takes. By the time a story is in your head, until it to be shared by someone, there are a series of steps, which you must do. Otherwise, then the stories stay locked up in our heads forever, whether it's music or theater or dance or film or documentaries, whatever it is.
Correct.
So why I wanted to start with this particular one is it's okay to go out there and you're shouting or preaching to people, this is what you should do, ABCD. But we actually wanted to give you a case study of where we pick our local family church and we show them how something they've been doing just for fun for years can actually generate an income.
True.
Maybe Mary Ju can pick it from there. Now speaking what you're talking about, like low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's important because every time I talk to people, to clients, even to people come and pick my brain, right? I do a lot of sessions. And I always ask them, what are the low-hanging fruits? What are the things that you already do well?
Yeah.
The things that you disregard.
Yeah.
The things that you do so effortlessly that, in fact, if you charge somebody for them, it's like you're stealing from people.
I never thought about it like that.
A lot of people struggle with that. And it goes back to what I said about St. Thomas. I mean, for how many years have we been going to watch drama, the theaters at St. Thomas?
Actually, let's give you guys some background. St. Thomas is the church where we have attended ever since we were little. And even after we moved out, we grew up and moved out of home, our parents continued to attend our church. And I love theater, and I think part of it stems from St. Thomas because they would put on this place, their drama club.
Yes.
Yeah, they would put on this really nice plays. And in fact, I loved one so much, I actually put it in my current book, Silencing Anna. It's called The Gods Are Not to Blame. And I remember when I actually showed them, I had 32 years ago.
Yes.
I literally have the typewritten pages.
1990.
Yes.
Imagine.
I still have it. You know that time they used to type everything. In fact, they're longer than an A4.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how much I love theater.
Yes.
So I was telling these guys, I find it very, very, churches right out fundraising mode. The Catholic Church, I mean, money used to come from Rome. Hey, your chapter ilifungwa kabisa.
It's true.
Hakuna pesa kutoka Roma.
Churches in the West are becoming hotels and bars and hotels and condos.
Yes. So, as especially as Catholics, because Protestants got this memo a long time ago.
Yeah.
They know, they even call it, you plant a seed, is it a seed?
Yes.
And then you have to grow the church yourself.
Yes.
There's money not coming from nowhere.
It's true.
But as Catholics, it's this thing of, and money is not something that's even talked about in the Catholic Church because it's like,
almost taboo.
Yeah. Even offertory, it's almost whispered, just give what you can.
Yeah, those coins. You go to a Protestant church and pardon me guys, you're Protestant, and they say, we don't want coins, we only want notes.
Notes do not make noise. Mambo ya coins are done to hear in that bag. So anyway, so we actually, and me, it's the same thing even as an artist. We also find it very hard to ask, sometimes even asking for what you want.
Yes.
Because you focus so much on the arts part. People even think because you're so passionate about it, you should be compensated.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous.
Or you have this thing of, because it's so good, people should, out of the goodness of their heart, they should pay for it.
And it will sell itself.
It will sell itself. But
Yeah.
hey, you could not light a candle, then put it under the sofa.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. You have to put it out there to shine. Yeah.
So now to put these two things together, my love of theatre and now Mary G coming in with her strategy, is I realized because because St. Thomas have always had this family day, which a lot of other churches have, where you invite your family and relatives, and they actually it's basically a harambe.
Yeah.
And me, I find it so hard to ask people for money. That conversation is very difficult. But then I started thinking, I have watched so many plays over the years. My friends, I have dragged them to plays, tea after or before.
Yes.
But I mean, this is standard. So asking someone to come watch a play for me is a very short conversation. And money does not even get mentioned. It's entertainment, it is wholesome. You don't even have to be Catholic, you can be anything.
It's true.
You come and watch this play.
Yeah, it just so happens that the venue will be within a religious institution.
Exactly.
But that's the only difference.
Yeah. It's just a venue.
It's just a venue.
And it's the hall in the church, not actually, the church.
Exactly.
So talk about how, the whole response we had.
Yes.
That when we took this idea to the seminarians and the priests.
So again, for context, for those who are not Catholics, a seminary is where Catholic priests are actually trained, and then they ordained, and now they go out and basically become Christian. I mean, they become Catholic priests and spread the gospel. So anyway, so we planted the seed. Remember back in January, we planted the seed. And we told them, what would it take for you guys to put on such an amazing production, so good that even the Pope can come and watch it?
Yes.
And they were like, now, sometimes the production budget constraints, all of that, costumes, all of that. So we're like, okay, so assuming we remove that off the table and you didn't have to worry about the production, is it doable? They're like, yeah, that's doable. So we're like, fine. Then you guys, we're challenging you. Go put on a production, and this time you're not going to charge 100 bob, 200 bob, or for people who are not Kenyans, that's like $1 or $2, which is what they used to charge. Yeah. And then invite
because mostly they were targeting students,
exactly.
Especially St. Thomas and Catholic University of Eastern Africa share a fence.
Exactly.
So that was the target market.
That was the target market
for the longest time.
Yeah. But then so we're like, now and then we are going to show you exactly, if you put on a very good production, we are actually going to help you market this play, and we're going to fill that auditorium. Yeah. And they looked at us like, really, guys? We should have taken a picture of their faces. It was hilarious. So anyway, fast forward. So they that was back in January. They came to us in September and told us, we have a date. It's in October. We're like, guys, we told you to give us 3 months. To market this thing properly.
Marketing.
But then because of a couple of issues, then the date could not be changed. Yeah. So like, okay, the date is fixed. October 20th and 29th it is. Let's do this. That gives us how many weeks? 5 weeks.
Yeah. 5 weeks? We've never done this before.
Yes.
I mean, it's one thing to tell someone, let's go to National Theatre, Phoenix Players, Brayburn, St. Mary's, the powerhouse schools of theatre.
No names.
This is St. Thomas. What you put
So anyway, so they had done a fantastic job. They even went out and even got a director from National Theatre, one of the very, very well-known directors. In fact, I was totally impressed. At that point, I began thinking, okay, these guys are taking this very seriously. Now, clearly, it's up to us.
And then the next thing, they actually gave us the budget.
They gave us the budget.
Broken down to, all the various things.
Exactly.
And I was really, really happy. Actually, this is important. They were actually planning to do a different play. Yes. And they had a script writing budget for, I can't remember what that play was called. Yes. But then I remembered, the gods are not to blame. I have a script sitting in my house.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, went home, found it, got it. I told them, here's a script. Can we knock 30K off that budget?
Exactly.
Like, cheers, now we can just
we can move on.
Yes.
Yeah. So then now, I guess the next phase was, okay, now the production is in place. The rehearsal dates are already sorted. So now, how do we fill the hall?
Yeah.
So I sat back and it was time to put on my strategy hat and we started brainstorming with Shiro. Yeah. And I was like, we always tell people, what do you already have? What are your low-hanging fruits? And then I thought, okay, the seminarians, the students alone in the seminary are 152. All the students. Then they have clergy or formators or their faculty who are another.
Let's just call them their teachers.
Let's call them their teachers, right?
It's basically a boarding school for priests. Forgive us, but we need to bring this down to more 90 level. Yes. It's a boys' boarding school, just that they're training priests.
Exactly. So their teachers are 11.
Yes.
And then St. Thomas, again for context, is the oldest seminary in the country. We go back 1963. Yeah. So they have 55 years of graduates,
People who have passed
through St.
institution.
Thomas.
And remember those beautiful plays they
Exactly.
So for those ones, someone who already knows your work, it's a very short
conversation.
And then because they had a good experience in the school,
yes,
then they'll be willing to. The way we are always invited
yes.
to support our alma mater.
Yes.
At least we thought, okay, this is fairly simple.
Exactly.
But practical. Wow.
So we sat down and we mapped it out on a blackboard. Not a whiteboard, a blackboard.
You chalk. Mary G is the teacher, by the way. She has but you're trained as a teacher.
I'm a trained teacher.
Yes,
my degree was in BEd.
Yeah.
So we sat down and we mapped it out. And we were like, okay, this is actually doable. Because we're like, if all the seminarians can sell 2 tickets,
only
just 2.
Yes.
Just 2. And then the teachers said maybe 3 to 5.
Yes.
And then alumni, we broke it down. If you have over 1,000 priests out there, alumni who have all gone through St. Thomas, if you just put together a list of like 55 of them, and start making those phone calls over 5 weeks, that's not, it's not
unrealistic. If you can bring another person.
Exactly. And we're like, okay, and the story of the capacity was 350. So 2 shows, that's 700
We're looking
people.
at 700 people.
And we were charging 1,000 bob.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, 1,000 bob or $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, agreed. And
we hit the ground
running. And used up a lot of airtime and called our friends. And I think, Shiro, this is the part I think it's interesting for you to basically just talk about how you are inviting your friends for the play. For people who are afraid to, how do you market?
Yes.
Yeah,
because as I said, for me, I did not ask someone for money.
Yes.
Let me use an example like Nimzi. Rose, she's my very good friend. We were in college together. I was like, hi Nimzi, how are you? Small talk, finished. You know how much I love theatre. They know. They're like, so there's this St. Thomas Aquinas Seminary, which is our family church, is putting on a performance of my favorite play, The Gods Are Not to Play.
Yes.
And there are 2 shows on Saturday and on Sunday. Join me for the Saturday play. And we are selling tickets on an online platform, and there are 1,000 bob. You can time how long that has taken. Hakuna story hadithi ndefu na nini. Then if they tell you, okay, because of course, people are busy, the notice was extremely short. They tell you, I think I'm committed or I have something. You're like, okay, the next thing you can do, why don't you just sponsor a ticket? Because, we understand there are people who would want to help, and but they don't have the time to come watch the play. But if you buy a ticket, then we can get one of those students we're talking about who can only afford 200, then we can't fill the seats. Because then I tell them, listen, when you're putting on a performance, you work so hard. It's very demoralizing to be confronted with empty
chairs.
Okay, so that's a very short conversation. They're like, done. So they're like, go buy the ticket and then send me like the message. So that now we know at the end of it, we compile how many
sponsored seats we have. And we can invite like even the other institutions.
So you notice that I've not actually asked anyone for money. I just invited you to come watch a play with me. And the other thing I was throwing in, I was like, my mom. My mom is the typical African mother. She does not believe, how do you invite people and you're not feed them? So we should make what do you mean? So no, we have to give people something. I was like, okay, what are you thinking? She's like, we can give tea, we can give snacks. So I was like, where have you now? I tell people that, which play have you ever gone to? Nana Upatiwa Chai.
And it's not, it's free.
And no one is telling you to go.
Yes, exactly.
Like, wow. Really, that was just a sweeter. At the end.
Right at the end.
So you see, that's how we were doing it. And so you're not actually asking someone to come, because I've noticed, asking someone to give you even 200, 500. It's hard. But you're asking someone, and these are the same people who have no problem, they'll go drop 3K a weekend on booze. On alcohol. So there's one, I told you, by the way, I know you're a clubber. You have to have it's on a Saturday. You do this, you come, you skip the shy because shy and beer don't mix. After that, you just head to the club. And have your beers. My 1K we support the family church. She was like, cheers. And that's what we did. And I think the most interesting feedback that I got, because I adopted the same strategy, is everybody told me that is such an amazing idea. I love the creativity. Priests are the ones who are doing this. Oh my God, for sure I'm going to sponsor. In fact, the minority are the ones who only sent me 1,000. Some are sponsoring 2 tickets, 3, Actually, we left out the best part.
What?
I mean, in most schools, you'd find the boys play the boy part,
Yes.
the girls play the girl part.
Yes.
Growing up, and let's backtrack a little again. Yes, when we were children, we used to watch plays at St. Thomas. Now, because these are not boys basically, or young men, let's call them that. So obviously, they didn't have women's clothes. So that time, because it was an amateur performance, they would borrow clothes from the women, the families who attended the congregation. So seeing those men, imagine now we're 5, 6 years old. You know, the typical children.
Yes.
And you're watching someone strutting around that stage with mom's headscarf
Or a wig.
dress.
Or a wig.
You know, we were giggling the entire time. That was the best fun. And even I may be 50 years old, but that was still the best
it was still the best part of the whole performance.
And we'll have some of those clips running, so you'll actually be able to see. Some of those people, man, those costumes were so
They were really good.
The fellow seminarians were on the floor.
They were on the floor. They could not help themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Which is part of the fun.
it's true.
Yes. Can you imagine we're so used, priest, collar, that black, all black and
Yeah, for sure.
We are praying.
Yeah, they just
sing.
you can barely not even approach them because they are so up there on a pedestal.
When you see them up there acting as women and all the words, it's just, it was so much fun.
And I think that was the other thing we were telling the leadership of the seminary, that this is also a very good way to open up the seminarians' minds as to what is possible even when they graduate.
Yes.
Because they're going to be communicating with people who come to church. These are laymen.
Yes.
If they look at you like you are on a pedestal, they can't even approach you. It makes it that much harder to build that bridge between you and actually spread the gospel.
Exactly.
Right? So come down to their level. Speak their language. This is actually fantastic practice.
And I'm glad you've said that because I've always insisted, part of the reason I am so passionate about the arts. The arts is the single biggest denominator that brings people together, even enemies.
Yes.
I mean, let's just give a few examples, okay? Because in this country, we have to say it because it's the truth.
Yes.
We sometimes get very petty about tribes and issues like that. But when Lupita won the Oscar, did you know what tribe she was?
Yes.
When our athletes win a gold medal and we're all cheering.
We are all Kenyans.
Yes.
Nobody talks about the tribe. We are all like
football, rugby, music, concert. Art has that effect of it's just about fun.
It brings down all the walls.
It brings down walls. And so why not in this? Yes, we know spiritual life is important. Churches play a very important role. But there's also this other life because we are all not just serious people.
True.
We have this other life.
It's
so
true.
if you can have that in your local church,
that would be fantastic.
why not?
And here's the reality. And for anybody watching this video, if you're running a non-profit or an institution or whatever else, these institutions don't run themselves.
Yeah.
These seminarians, they don't live on air.
Yeah.
They don't eat the Bible.
Yes.
So at some point, the basic needs, your food, your clothing, your shelter, those cars to go out there and go for those masses, you need to fuel them.
Before they can even concentrate on the
Exactly.
exams, they need to have had a good meal. They need to
Exactly.
be clothed. They need to have hot water.
Yes.
All of that costs money, and these are the everyday practicalities
Of
that we
life.
need to talk about.
We need to talk about,
Yeah.
and you cannot run away from them. And it is not sustainable for you to always come out with a begging bowl. It quickly gets old and people get tired.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have come to for money and quickly get tired?
Yeah.
Even a very, very genuine case, somebody in the hospital or
We
cancer.
have medical appeals every
Exactly.
day on Twitter.
People get tired.
Education, whatever.
They really
But I
get
just kept
tired.
thinking the other thing is Kenyans know about education
Yes.
and fundraising. That's how we used to be. We're people who don't have scholarships. You call the whole village, you slaughter a goat, and people contribute.
Yes.
So it's exactly the same thing, except
Correct.
that these are seminarians
Yes.
training to be priests.
Training to be
But it
priests.
is still an educational institution.
Correct.
So the concept would work.
It
So
would
now
work.
let's
It would
move
just-
this
so let's
along.
move this along.
So in theory, it sounded okay.
Yes.
But now when it came to selling the tickets,
When it came to the tickets, on our part, the family, the friends, they were selling like clockwork.
Yeah.
On the seminarian side, and they were the majority, as I gave you the statistics earlier, not so easy. Because apparently there were very many doubting Thomases within St. Thomas.
Painfully intended.
Fully intended. So at some point, I remember I think it was 8 days to the play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly over a week.
Slightly over a week. And still, the ticket sales were very
Because we were
sluggish.
tracking them, we were using Tax Czar as the
Yes.
platform, so we were tracking the back end, so we could actually
Yes.
see.
We could actually see and were like, what?
We
We
were
are
not
in
hit
trouble.
this
We were
target.
not hit this target. And so one of the teachers of the school actually called me. It was a public holiday. And he told me, I think you need to come and talk to the students. So I did. And in fact, she was telling me, why are we babysitting them? They should do their part. I was like, no, let me just go talk to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened that day, but when I got there, I just started talking about, you know what? Even Jesus Christ himself was the biggest marketer whoever walked the face of this planet. If you're not a Christian, just take the lesson.
I was so shocked when you said that. I was like,
no, because think about it, Shiro. Think about it, Shiro. 2,000 years later, and it is still growing. Yeah. Christians are still growing. It's the single biggest community ever, and it's still growing. So if he gave that example, he actually laid out the blueprint. So why would we be shy to market? And so that's what, and I talked to them for about a full hour, and I gave very tangible examples. And I was like, okay, so I think at some point they got it.
No, we did win a couple more people.
Yes.
But still not everyone was on board. As I said, this was a giant experiment even for us.
Yes.
And at some point it became clear we can't afford to fail.
No.
My mom became superwoman. How many tickets did she finally sell?
I think she sold over 100 by herself.
I think so.
100 tickets by herself.
But it helped, and I kept telling her, me and my friend, I call them, they give me 1 ticket.
Yes.
I remember Eric, shout out Eric Kehara, bought 3 tickets.
Yes.
Mom was being sent like 10K, 7K.
Exactly. She was, I was like, oh, mom was just a full superwoman. But I think it just goes showing every project there will be, like the 80% of the results will come from 20% of the people who are actually involved. And this was no different. So anyway, after that discussion, things started moving a little bit faster. There was still a lot of Dr. Thomas says, but at least things were moving. And I think now we can get on the actual results.
Yes. Were we able to hit the 700 target?
No.
Not quite.
Not about 500.
But it's a respectable, it was a respectable number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering that is the number, it was like 500 tickets or give or take.
Because people were still sending money to the page.
Yes, even afterwards.
You know, they see you, they remember, oh, I was supposed to have done something.
Yes.
Like, we keep sending it, it's going to the right place.
Yeah, so 500 tickets. And considering this is the same amount of money, actually more than they would raise at a family day, which they plan for a whole year.
Yeah, depending. Yeah. You know, those ones are so erratic. Like during COVID, it will be low.
Yes.
Again, it just depends on how many people come.
Yes.
But as I said, for me, I think not so much the number, but something they do for fun.
Yes.
Take for granted. Invite students and you have a laugh, but it can actually raise
money
for you.
And I think that was the single biggest success of this entire project.
It was a flash bulb moment.
It was a light bulb moment. To date, I mean, the church leadership is almost embarrassing. Every time they see you there, saying thank you, and you pull off a miracle. And
imagine, as she kept telling you, what do you have?
What do you have? What are the low-hanging fruits?
Just look at what you have differently.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that you do for free, anything that people constantly come to you for advice or they seek your expertise in, they are already positioning you as an expert.
You can leverage it.
You can leverage it. The only person who doesn't believe it is you. Because, I mean, we cannot see our own noses, which is acceptable. Yeah, and that is why I think one of the biggest lessons again is it's always good to have an outside perspective. Because, I mean, Shiro, let's just talk about some of the environment of St. Thomas and what it is capable of. Maybe we can just paint a picture. The location.
800 meters of the highway.
800 meters of the highway.
It's Nairobi.
They have fantastic grounds. They have the most beautiful. I got married in that chapel, and oh my God, my friends always wow at those pictures. Today, like 10 years later, they have a hall. They have parking, right? Imagine just packaging all that and starting to hire it out for weddings.
Or retreats.
Or retreats.
Or workshops.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing about St. Thomas is when they go away on holiday,
it's closed.
It's closed.
You're not
inconveniencing anybody. The students are away.
Actually, I just thought of something. People can actually sleep there.
Yes, they can. It's perfect. It's like it can be an all-in-one package. But for that to happen, you need to think differently. So this experiment of just the drama club was just the first step in. Let them see what is possible. In fact, they kept saying this was by far the biggest audience we have ever had for any of our shows. Ever. In over 30 years of doing drama shows for free. This was by far the biggest audience. That's huge. That is huge.
And I think the other really thing as we take it home is to just let people know. I mean, think about it like we were just thinking as we were coming to shoot this video. We are having a very long holiday, and I think schools are closing today. I think it's the 23rd.
Yes.
And it's a solid 2-month holiday. And parents are out there scratching their heads and wondering, what are we going to do with this kid?
Yes.
Them to come to do. But a lot of you have, communities. You have churches, maybe in your area you have even, football clubs or something. Imagine if you told the kids as a church to put together like a Christmas play or something.
Yes.
And don't complicate it. Let them rehearse. And then each child is simply to tell the parents and the aunties and the uncles and tell your dad to invite his work friend, put together, you just decide a ticket price based on wherever it is that you live.
Correct.
Obviously, if you're somewhere deep rural, I mean, you're not going to charge 1,000 bob, but
No.
whether it's 50 bob or 100 bob or whatever it is.
Every shilling counts.
Yes. And then think about it. It's fun for the kids. The next Lupita could be sitting in your house, but
True.
you don't know because, I mean, they've never had to explore this artistic side of
And
that.
we see these talents all
It
the
could be
time.
music,
All the
it could
time.
be painting, yes.
Remember
those
high
are-
school, then
yes.
the music clubs, they go all the way to national competitions. Then after that, those talents just fade
Yeah.
away.
So there's no reason why it needs to end at high school. Even when
No.
you're on holiday, this is something even churches can do.
Yes.
Raise a little money. Even as you go alongside your other fundraising activities,
Yes.
this just becomes one more thing. And it's a fun thing.
Mm.
Something that, as I said, first it was the whole family. You know, everybody had fun.
Yes.
As I said, me, I can sell fun. But asking people for money
it was very exciting. It was
difficult.
not stressful. We thought it would be
It was
stressful
not stressful.
in a really short time, but it wasn't stressful at all.
Yeah, it was just getting people to sort of convince them that this is actually possible and doable. And now that we've seen what has happened, I'm sure next year,
Yeah, it will be full house.
and think about it now, the people who came, that's the other beauty of
Yes.
it, because we actually captured, you know, the
all the
contact.
names and the email addresses. We have the database
And it was
now.
a fantastic performance. So it will be a very short conversation. Do you remember how much fun you had last year at this play?
We're
We're doing it again
Yeah,
this
let's
year.
do it again.
Yes, they said, oh, which day is it?
Mm.
And please tell your friend, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Mm.
So hopefully even in terms of the marketing, it will be
Easier. Especially if the date is fixed on the calendar and people know way in advance.
Yeah.
Then now you start aligning, you start marketing it properly
Yeah.
and putting in place measures.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So that is it. Do you want anything else to add before we wrap this up?
no, just to say, guys, think outside the box. I mean, anything that you can do well, you can make money from it. You just have to, it's a decision. You just have to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will leave you with, I'll probably be doing like an introduction to this series, but I just want to say something to artists. First, yes, we are passionate about our craft, but honestly, that whole starving artist has become such a cliche, not on this channel. On
Yes.
this channel, we believe artists should make money from their craft, lots of it. And one of the things I hope this series will accomplish is to help you show exactly how to do that. And the other thing I tell artists, it may start out as a passion, but if it gets to the level where you're relying on it to buy your food, pay your rent, school fees, whatever it is, it's no longer a hobby, that's your business. You need to treat it like a business. And as we will be talking to artists, we'll be talking to experts, we'll be talking to people on the back end, and we will be giving you the tools and some of the skills and tips. Because some of us have made mistakes on our journey, expensive, costly mistakes. So I really also want to, so that you know, I mean, you're not the only one, but hopefully you can learn from this mistake.
Correct.
And you have a better way of harnessing your art while enjoying it at the same time.
I could not say that better.
Yeah. I think that's it. Thank you for staying with us. I'll catch you on the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And remember, whatever you do, whatever life throws at you, you keep on dancing. Bye.